What's poppin'? Welcome back to Midwest World. It's the Tubecast. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the content. Greatly appreciated from everybody. Greatly appreciated from everybody, man. Topic at hand. Something I want to talk about. I talked about it on FNS Network when we first started that channel, but I want to talk about it here. So, Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter. That's the crossover that, listen, fighting games nowadays haven't really been hitting like that, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been hitting like that. It don't have the same oomph it used to have back in the day. What I do think would light that fire back up would be Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter crossover. That or Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat, whatever you want to call it, Mortal Kombat X Street Fighter, whatever. You know what I mean? If they do that, because it seems like they do every crossover under the sun except Mortal Kombat. You got Street Fighter cross Tekken, which they still never came out with the Tekken cross Street Fighter, and I don't know what happened, because Street Fighter cross Tekken, that game was fire. You know what I mean? I reviewed that on the channel, played it on the channel, so. On a 360, but I will play the PSP version actually fairly soon. You know what I mean? But yo, that game was dope. And guess what? They still did it 2D mixed with a little bit of 3D, kind of cel shaded. It was a unique art style. So if they're able to make a game like Tekken and Street Fighter work, they could do that with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, because I'm like, man, I don't know if they ever was talking about doing that, but those are the two main franchises that's like, you know, always is pitted against each other, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Even though SNK is more so in the line, the SNK franchise, that's more in the line against Street Fighter. You can see it when they play, you know what I mean? It's like very, very, very similar gameplay, very, very similar look, all that. So that makes the most sense. It's almost like it's all one big, you know what I mean? It's like, it don't feel like much of a difference, right? But Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter's divided fan base for the most part. I like both games, but I'm a Mortal Kombat guy. You know, if you put my feet to the fire, I'm gonna say Mortal Kombat every day of the week. Even though Street Fighter is more consistent though with the games they drop, but the thing is with Street Fighter, you want to talk about somebody who play it safe. They play it safe. They're remix their game, man. Listen, you know what I mean? Like, I can't keep up with all the titles Street Fighter have as far as alphas and ultra versions, and I don't know, man. I have a nice amount of Street Fighter games, but I still don't know all of the remixed versions they have out, to be honest with you. I don't know. Mortal Kombat they're not bad like that, but what they do, you know, like ever since, was 360 PS3? Yes, 360 PS3. You know, which I think the optimal way to play that game is the PS3 version, because you have Kratos in it. Mortal Kombat 9, I believe. What they're gonna do is they're gonna drop the game, and then probably a year later they're gonna come out with the ultimate version with all DLC, or whatever the case is, right? So if you patient, you know what I mean, you can just wait until they drop that version and get it for standard price versus on paying for those DLC packs, if you're not so gun-ho on getting it the first day, right? But they not as bad as Street Fighter. I don't care. Street Fighter, man, they terrible with the microtransactions. But I love Street Fighter. And not even microtransactions, the DLC packs, which is pretty much still microtransactions. I don't care how you want to spin it. Microtransactions, DLC, to me is all the same, you know what I mean? Except DLC, no, it's all the same. Forget all that. I hate transactions, I hate DLC. You group that all in the same pot. I don't, whatever. But a crossover, how would that work? I think that if they did it like, because if they did it like how I forgot what channel it was, man. There's this channel that simulated Scorpion and Ryu fighting and all that. Man, that video was hard. If I could find it, I'm gonna link it in this video, because it was years ago. I seen that, I'm like, that looked like a real game, and it was dope. So if they did it more so in that trilogy looking style, it could work. It could work. They would have to alter the graphics a little bit, but If they did it in the 16-bit style with the 3D backgrounds, I really think that game can work. Okay, because if you can adjust Tekken to fit Street Fighter style of gameplay, you could do this with Mortal Kombat, right? And I think that they would have to go into the 16-bit era, that graphic style, but they can make them backgrounds high detail. You know what I'm saying? And that could be the greatest fighting game of all time if they did it. Because what they could do is this, man, like with the memory capabilities that's in these consoles now, you can have the biggest, largest fighting game of all time. All the characters Mortal Kombat have, I say throw that whole trilogy roster in there, or the Armageddon roster. Mortal Kombat Armageddon, throw that in there, right? And then I think, see, the thing is though, Mortal Kombat, they have way more characters. So you have to take all the heavy hitters. Take all the heavy hitters. I guess you could take all the heavy hitters in Mortal Kombat. All the heavy hitters. We talking Scorpion, Sub-Zero, you know what I mean? Noob Saibot, all them. All the ninjas. See, the bosses, do you need to throw them in there? Yeah, you can throw the bosses in there, you know what I mean? Because you got Akuma. Akuma probably whoops everybody, though, to be honest. Like, if you want to be honest, Akuma probably whooped the whole Mortal Kombat roster. I'm just being honest. I'm being objective here. Akuma is nasty. He will beat the brakes. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He probably beats the roster easy. I think he beats the bosses. I think he beats the Akuma is something else, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. You know what I mean? That dude is overpowered, you know what I mean? But, so, you know, yeah, you can put the bosses in there because Akuma will be able to handle business, straight up. So I would love to see, like, they do the 16-bit style graphics, just, you know, modified a little bit to where they look the same. 3D style backgrounds. All the heavy hitters in Mortal Kombat 1. Obviously, all the heavy hitters in Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? What would that count be? I gotta look at Street Fighter. You know, we all know the heavy hitters, but they roster is never really that big. You know, so that'd be kind of, I guess you want to say that'd be tricky because a lot of people have their own favorite characters in Mortal Kombat. I mean, you got the usual suspects, but yeah, I guess you would have to condense it. You can't throw the whole Armageddon trilogy in there. You have to really like all the A+ guys. Throw them in there, all the A+ Street Fighter guys, the stages. You could include every stage on both sides. I mean, you could have a nice amount of stages, man. Like, that'd be fire. The story, I would want a story mode to see how them worlds collide. I would love to see a story mode in that. Who will write it? You know what I mean? Who will write it? That's the question. Who will write it? That's, you know, I think, is it egos on both sides? I don't know. I'm willing to bet Ed Boon be willing to do it. I think he'd be willing to do it. I don't know about the guy who creates Street Fighter. I don't know. I don't know how true this is. So this is allegedly, and I heard this years ago. I heard that the guy who creates Street Fighter, don't know his name off top, he doesn't want his characters getting fatalities performed on them. That's the room. I don't know how true that is. It may not be true at all, but I think that's one of the issues there, the fatality situation, because what was it, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe? There wasn't no fatalities in that game. You know what I mean? So, and if it was, there wasn't no brutal fatality. So it's like they keep teasing these crossovers, but they don't do the two main crossovers or the main crossover that everybody want to see. You can have every stage in Street Fighter, every stage in Mortal Kombat. The story will be very interesting to see how that works. That'd be a very interesting story. Very interesting to see how that go. Would it be like how Injustice is? You know, how you play through like that? Or would it be like how Mortal Kombat and Injustice have the same style of layout when you do the story in Injustice 2 and Mortal Kombat, right? So, and Injustice 1. So how would the story be? Very interested in that, man. But I think that's the crossover that has shut the fighting world game down, depending who do it. Now, who develops the game? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who develops that game, because if Capcom develops it, I don't know, man. I really don't know, man. I don't, because if Capcom develops it, I almost feel like they'll make their players more so, or they squad more overpowered than Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? Another round, right? I would say, you know, give it to a developer that's neutral. give it to a neutral developer. I mean, I would say that, to be honest with you. I would want to go in that bag. Give it to a neutral developer, because I don't want that on either side. I don't want NetherRealm to make their players more overpowered and have Street Fighter players weak, and I don't want that to be the same, vice versa. I don't want that to be the case. So get a talented developer who do this with fighting games, you know, and get them a shot and let them do it. I would say that. I would give them a shot. You know, you look at those modders or those guys who know how to really code with games and things like that. Get one of those teams, get them a shot and let them do this. Even though it's a big project and important, I would still do that, because I think that there'd be more. So I think get a team that's neutral. You know what I mean? That know how to use, you know, that know what they're doing. I think that'd be, I think you would want to do it like that, because you let Capcom do it, you know, I don't think Mortal Kombat players would be that nice. I mean, they'd be dope and all, but they're gonna make sure Street Fighter characters is on point. And if you do NetherRealm, they're gonna make sure Mortal Kombat characters is on point. So I mean, I don't know. They still, was it Capcom who developed? I think it was Capcom who did Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and and Namco. They didn't put out their version yet. Still, I don't know what the holdup is on that. That was supposed to come out years ago, right? So I don't know, man. But I'm Team Mortal Kombat though. I'm repping Team Mortal Kombat all day. You know what I mean? I'm on that side. Straight up, I'm on that side. I love Street Fighter though, but I'm Mortal Kombat thick and thin. You know what I mean? Thick and thin, I'm Mortal Kombat. Do they always put out the best fighting games? Nope, but they take more risks, I'll tell you that. Street Fighter takes zero risks, none, which is fine. I mean, it's okay playing it safe, but they're not taking no kind of a risk, man, at all. Mortal Kombat, you got all type of different Mortal Kombat games out there. You know, it's very similar to how Sonic is. You know how Mario plays safe, very safe. They do not stray away from the formula whatsoever, and that's not a problem. But Sonic take more risks. You know what I mean? Take more risks. So when you take risks, you liable to throw you liable to shoot air balls and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? So that's the risk. That's what happens when you take risks. You know what I mean? Everything not gonna land. So I look at Sonic and Mortal Kombat the same way in that aspect. But when it hit, it hit. All right. So I'm Mortal Kombat all day. Bad games and all. They got good ones too. You know what I mean? They got just as many good games. They got bad ones. So I mean, hey, I'm good with that. Or they may have more good games than bad ones. Mortal Kombat, to be honest with you, but I'm rolling with Mortal Kombat over Street Fighter. But I would love to see a game like that. They need to just do it, because I think that'd be the big. I truly feel like a Street Fighter cross Mortal Kombat or ex-Mortal Kombat, that right there will be the biggest fighting game of all time. That'd be the biggest fighting game of that, the biggest. Now, I'm not gonna say it's the greatest. I'm not gonna say it'll be the greatest, because it has to play right first. But as far as impact, that'd be the most impactful, the biggest fighting game of all time. Seriously, I mean, I don't think nothing will come close. That announcement will shake up the fighting world community, gaming community, all that. That'd be crazy. You know what I mean? To see that commercial or the ad, we'd be like, what? Oh man, then you're gonna have people arguing. You're gonna have your Street Fighter people arguing, your Mortal Kombat people arguing. You gotta understand, you're gonna get all ages with this, because Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat came out in my era. You know what I mean? When I was young. I remember when Mortal Kombat was on the news. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Mortal Kombat was on the news. That game was plastered all over the news due to the violence. And if you look at it now, it's not even that brutal. If you go back and play Mortal Kombat 1 now, that game is not even brutal like that. But back then, they was appalled when that came out. They were like, oh my God, what is this? Like, so, but man, that'd be they announced that, you're gonna have the old heads coming out like, yo, you know, you Mortal Kombat, you Street Fighter cats can't, you know, hang with us. And this is gonna be the argument. I'll tell you this right now. Those combo guys that's in Street Fighter, oh, they're gonna be talking crazy because that'd be like the main argument when it comes to them. Oh, you guys aren't as skilled as us. It's almost like boxing and UFC. I think that's the perfect comparison here. It's like boxing and UFC. Oh, they look at the UFC guys as not being skilled, which to me makes no sense. Okay, that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, yeah, you know, the wrestling can be annoying, but all those different fighting styles, you have to be a skilled fighter to be able to beat different type of dudes on any given night. Like, you have to be nice, man. That's why nobody's really undefeated in the UFC. There's too many different fighting styles, man, for you to be able to just like, nah, it's too many different ones, man. You got to be nice, super nice. Your bag got to be deep to be able to just be strolling through the UFC undefeated. Even John Jones lost before. He's looked at as the greatest. You know what I mean? So boxing, you usually got to worry about boxers. Yes, it's different styles, and it's very skilled. Very skilled. I mean, you got to be very disciplined and patient and everything with boxing when you can only use your hands. Now, so that's the argument when it comes to that. It's like, well, you're not as skilled because we can only use our hands, and you got to be, you know, tactical, which is true in a sense. You don't have knees and elbows to resort to in boxing. You have to use all hands, footwork, defense. You know what I mean? Very, very difficult. But UFC is difficult too. They both is difficult in their own way. So I look at that with the same as far as Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. They both difficult in their own way. They both difficult in their own way. You know what I mean? I don't think you could button mash your way through either game, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's different approaches, but I don't think you could button mash your way through either game at all. The only game that I've played that you could button mash your way through is Tekken, to be honest. You know what I mean? You can button mash your way through Tekken. You know what I mean? To this day, you can button mash your way through that and get lucky. You know what I mean? But you can't do that in Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Not in my opinion. You got to learn your characters, man, and how to use them and stuff like that. And I'm not the greatest fighting game guy. I'm just telling you. That's something I realize and understand. You know, Tekken, you could give the controller to your nephew in Tekken, and he might beat you with Eddie. You know what I mean? He might give it to you with Eddie. You be like, what in the? You be mad in the mug. Like, hold on, how'd you? You know what I mean? Or give it to your girl or your wife or something. She just get to rubbing on buttons and everything. Next thing you know, you done lost. So that's not the case with Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. You gotta know what you're doing and learn your character, which I respect. So both games have its differences and difficulties, and I would love to see those worlds collide. That would be great to see the banner back and forth. Now, this is the thing when it comes to trash talking, right? I come from hip hop, okay? It is what it is. If you want to look that up, you can check yourself. You know what I mean? I have projects spanning from when I was in high school all the way up to now. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So, I know the art of trash talking. You know what I mean? And using the words and all that type of stuff. It's one thing when you just trash talking like whatever. And with basketball, you trash talking. But there's a certain line when it get to disrespect. Because at the end of the day, we just playing the game, dog. You know what I mean? No need for disrespect, right? No need to disrespect nobody over the game. You know what I'm saying? That's just it, you know? So, you know, you might have guys getting personal and stuff like that, you know. That's corny to me. You know, what we getting personal for? We just talking, we just having friendly, competitive banner. You know what I mean? You get these cats that be talking crazy to you, and it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are we going here with it? We just own the game and just, you know, we just having fun here. What's up with the personal attacks? You know what I mean? So that's the stuff that you will run into when it comes to that. You've seen it in console wars and all kinds of stuff where you get personal for whatever reason over the game. No need to get personal over any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Even in hip hop, you know, I'm all for lyrical warfare. No need to get personal. I'm all good for a sparring match. I'm cool with that. Okay, let's go bar for bar on the track. That's fun. No need to get personal with things like that. I'm not that kind of guy because it's not necessary. You know, because if it's going to get, like, when you come from a place where I came from, you know, there's no need for personal unless you're really about that. And a lot of people are not really about that. There's no need to even go in that direction over gaming. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for that. It's cool with friendly banner. That's cool. oh man, you can't mess with me, man, I'm nice. You can't, nah, man, that's fine. But no need for personal attacks, you know what I mean? No need for that, right? So, you know, that it is what it is, no need for that. So that's the only thing I'd be worried about with that game. When it comes to the trash talking, that people want to get personal because they don't know how to trash talk. And that's the thing. When you don't know how to trash talk, you're not quick with it, then you want to get personal, right? You want to get personal and start trying to hit below the belt and things like that. And usually the ones who hit below the belt can't handle when you hit back below the belt. They can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, we're not even gonna go in that direction, man. Like that, you know, no need for that. So that's why it's like, you know, I don't even engage in it. I don't even engage in trash talk. You know what I mean? Because trash talking, I mean, you know, if you can't, I got thick skin, right? I can deal with it. I done lost battles before. I done had people say some heinous stuff to me on the mic. Well, you know what I mean? Like, man, but then I've had my share of wins too. So it's like, you know, but you know, from hip hop, you know, battling people and stuff, man, you gotta be thick skinned, cause there's nothing like hearing somebody say some clever, witty stuff, punches that land, it's gonna hit you in the chest. You gonna feel that. You know what I mean? So, but when you win that lyrical dojo, you know, you gotta deal with it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So you gotta be able to eat that or otherwise don't even pick up the mic, you know? So, you know, but as long, it's all fun. It's all, you know, hey, it's all fun. You gotta be able, if you could take wins, you gotta be able to take L's. That's why I show L's. This is the thing. If I lose a game on the channel, I show it. No big deal. If I get smoked, I get smoked. If I win, I win. No big deal, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna always win. I'm not gonna always lose, you know? So, but when it comes to these trash talkers, right? You know, they can't handle, a lot of them cannot handle when you hit back. They can't handle that. You know what I mean? That's when they get personal with it. You know what I mean? So that's why I just don't even engage. I don't engage. You know what I mean? I'm from that. You know what I mean? And people get very upset whenever you hit back. And it's like, you know what? Might as well not even engage. I'm not saying I'm the greatest trash talker in the world. You know what I mean? But I'm not bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bad, man. Like, you know, I'm not bad. You know, I come from a place where you got to be real quick with the responses, and real clever and witty with it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so a lot of people just can't take that. You hear that in hip hop a lot where you got some rappers, but man, I can't battle. You know what I mean? And that's a clear cut case of I could dish it, but can't take it. You know what I'm saying? So it is, I just don't even involve myself into that trash talking stuff with gaming or anything like that. I just don't, man, because it's like pointless. You know, I'm not about to tongue wrestle with nobody. You know what I mean? I'm just not doing it. For what? It's pointless. If it's not gonna go nowhere for real, and then why would it go anywhere? We grown. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, you know, but I'm all about friendly banter in the same sense. I'm all about friendly banter, you know, playing the game and stuff like that, you know. It is what it is. It's all fun. Listen, it's all fun to me. It's all fun, you know. Gaming, I love gaming. You know, it's a passion of mine. I've always gamed. I'm just happy to be able to push, record, and show everybody. You know, I'm happy to document it. You know what I'm saying? I love this stuff, man. That's how I'm able to record at such a high clip, because I love it. Just like music, you know. I love music. That's why I got so many mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? I love music. I love rapping. It is what it is. You know, so that's how I'm able to do it at such a high clip, is because I love it. It's not something it's not nothing that's forced. I love doing it. I genuinely love doing it on a day-to-day basis to keep me going. So, you know, that's why I do it, you know. So it's not to be not to really impress anyone or anything like that. It's just I'm just doing what I love doing. I like to show it. You know what I mean? If the people rock with it, they rock with it. If they think I suck, they think I suck. If they think I'm good, I think I'm good. It's all good. You know what I mean? But yeah, I can't wait. I hope that they actually eventually come together and do this and do it. I hope they do, man, because that's still something that can shake up the gaming world. Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter. I think that's something that can shake up the gaming world for real. I think that'll be, will it be GTA level hype? Nothing. Well, I don't know, man. I think it could be. I think it could possibly be a GTA level hype. behind that game, possibly, because you're gonna have different eras, but GTA have different eras behind it too. You know what I'm saying? Different age groups behind it. So that'd be a very big announcement if they did something like that, man. That would be very, very big. And then the soundtrack, man, that'd be it. Well, the soundtrack, all they gotta do is take classic themes from both games and throw that in there. That's nothing. You know what I mean? They could add they could get new music too. You know what I mean? New music to compose, but they could just go straight into the archives and bring out all the classic music and use that too. You know what I mean? So that's not a hard thing to do there. But I think the more difficult thing would be the fatalities, which I think you could do that game without the fatalities though. I think you could do it without the fatalities. I think if you put the brutalities in it without them exploding, I think that'd be fine. If you put the brutalities in there without them exploding, I think that'd be fine, because that's more so in the Street Fighter range with the combos and stuff like that. So that means everybody will have like a finishing move, right? So I think that'd be perfect. The brutalities, you know what I'm saying? Just as long as they don't blow up and all that, make sure there's no blood in there and things like that. I think there's a way to meet them in the middle. Okay, you don't want fatalities? Okay, let's do the brutalities. Okay, that means everybody from Street Fighter got one, Mortal Kombat, everybody got some cold combo, you know what I mean, to finish their opponent off. I think that'd be fire. I think that'd be that's a perfect way to compromise, right? You know what I mean? Because listen, everybody, you don't need the X-ray moves and stuff like that. You know, not with Street Fighter. I get it, you know. So meet them in the middle and do the brutalities. Have everybody do the brutalities. You can implement both franchises' music. Have all the stages, at least all the memorable stages. All the heavy hitters. Have it like 16-bit graphics with the 3D background. Have it running 60 frames. You had the greatest fighting game of all time. You had the greatest fighting game of all time. If you do it right, you have the greatest fighting game of all time. Or if they want to do it like this, if they did like Capcom versus Mortal Kombat or something like that, you know, then you can add more characters, right? You add more characters. But it had to be Street Fighter. It won't hit the same if it say Capcom versus Mortal. It got to say Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat. So that's my opinion on that. I think that if done right, that'll be the greatest fighting game of all time. And like there's some you know, guys that some indie developers that know what they doing that just haven't got a shot yet. This would be the perfect chance to put a team on that's unknown, that do this fighting game stuff, put them on, let them develop that. You get them the tools and let them work that out. You know what I mean? Make it a balanced game. All the things I said in there, man, that'd be the greatest fighting game of all time. I'm guaranteeing that'd be the greatest fighting game of all time. And guess what? You don't even have to like make a sequel. You know what I mean? You don't have to make a sequel. You know, you don't have to make a sequel. You know what I mean? They like to do DLC, both of them. So, I mean, both companies love DLC. So you can add fighter packs galore with that. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So that's not even something you got to keep making. You can just add on to that. So if you want to add on certain characters and things like that, you could do that. So, I mean, that'd be, listen, greatest fighting game of all time, man. Straight up. And I stand by that, man. So make sure you like, subscribe, share the content. Greatly appreciate it from everybody. Peace.